Getting ready to watch Patty do her first meter 15 round on Mozzie, her 6-year-old. She's down there on the gray Mozzie. She's down there on the gray Mozzie. Oop. Oop. He has a good experience, so I'm sure we'll talk more about that later.
It's done. Chemistry makes things better.
Okay.
Hi, it's Patty from Fly Baby Foals, and if you just joined us on our other live, you will have seen a round that didn't go so hot. So Nina's going to ask me a few questions which you guys might have on your mind, and I can answer those now.
So why did you stop after the last fence that you took? Why did you decide not to complete the course?
So this is a very fancy young horse, and he's what we call careful. And when they hit a pole too many times, you start taking some of the drive and the desire out of them. And the rails were not his fault. The first jump I was too slow to. We had that rail, and then that should have been 7 steps in there. Instead I did 9, what we call a double add, which means I was really pulling on his face. So he jumped it the best he could from as close as we were with absolutely no impulsion or speed. Impulsion is the proper word. Often people mistake it for speed. Then it came around the next turn, and that wasn't a super poor choice, but once again, now he was losing a little bit of heart. He put the extra step in, we hit that one, and it was not going to be a good experience, especially the next 2 jumps were a double. It was an opposite to a vertical, and on those you really need to approach and get the first one correct in order to jump out correctly with the second one. So at that point I knew I was going to retire, but you are allowed, well actually I went off course. So I went back and I jumped a jump I'd already jumped rather than a different jump, because we'd already jumped it. I thought I had the phobia, which was fence 2, correct. We came down to it. I rode it really well, but I pulled on his mouth a little bit. He has what's called a pelham, and I had a second rein on my pelham, and I think I had just a little too much pressure. And so even though my legs were saying go forward, my seat was saying go forward, maybe a little bit more leg and a little less hand would have allowed him to leave that step out. So then what we did afterwards, and also he did not get any treats when we were done, because even though I may not have ridden that well, He could have helped me out a little bit more. Not his fault. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's his fault, but I don't believe in giving horses rewards for inadequate rounds. Yes, he went in there and he did it, but that is his job. Now he's getting treats and rewards, so we went back out in the warm-up ring. We put down a really little vertical so that I could work on me and him. We took off the column range, and I cantered over that vertical, which we'll show a little bit later, 4 or 5 times. The first time was still that sort of slow and backwards, and then finally I let go of my hands. I let him canter down to it, and he was beautiful, and he wasn't backed off. So we do that to ensure that there's no lasting memories. Horses have very, very short memories, and so what we want to do is address things as soon as you can. And so we addressed that for 2 reasons. One was for me. The other one was for us as a combination, for me to be able to tell him, hey, you can trust me. I'm not going to do that to you continually. And then by the next round, he'll have forgotten. More than likely, I will not have, which is part of the psychology of riding. But I love Mozzie, and he's great. And we just need to go do some more rounds and get together as a team. It's very difficult when you have bred horses. You get to know them through the years. So the other ones I've known for 7, 8, 9, now Odie's 13, for 13 years, and I rode him for 11 of those well. I had ridden him up until his 11th year. So Mozzie I just got in January, and he was quite green and pink and gray. I had ridden him up until his 11th year. So Mozzie I just got in January, and he was quite green and pink and gray.